Hello everyone, welcome to the Stalwart Initiative. And we're back with our first of the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything coverage. First, I'd like to apologize to those of you that I was so pumped to tell that I will be starting this coverage immediately after getting the book. I was going to start skimming everything over and then start step by step going over the book on the day after it came out. Unfortunately, perfect time to get really sick, which I'm still recovering from. So we're gonna medicate up and start hammering through some of these reviews. So let's begin. We're gonna start with Wizard, and for the subclasses, we're gonna start with Wizard and work our way backwards as everyone is in full swing on doing the reviews. Usually starting with Artificer and working forward. So, we're gonna fight the trend there. And if you want to check out other great reviews, channels like Nerd Immersion and stuff, Ted's already begun covering this a lot. I haven't got to see any of his reviews. I'll do mine first. That way they're completely non cross pollinated there, and then I'll check his stuff out because he does really good reviews as well. So let's begin with each of these subclasses, or each of the classes, I should say. They come with optional class features that are provided here. So as a player, if you get with your DM and see if it's okay that you add these these optional class features, it could just more options for you as a player, and can also make things interesting for DMs as well. So just get with your DM and if you want to add any of these features and see if that's okay. For Wizard, it's really only additional spells, cantrips through 9th level spells that are added, both from the player's handbook and also from Tasha's from this book, and a lot of them are reprints from other books like Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Elemental Evil, stuff like that. But new spells, there are brand new spells as well, and we're going to go over all the spells when I get to that section of the book, so don't worry, we'll touch on all of them then. Stay tuned for more reviews for that. And so here's a list of the spells, and it is a very nice list. I enjoy all these cool summon spells and stuff too, and up to 9th level. And the only other thing besides the new spell lists are, and remember, those don't give you additional slots, and they don't give you, as a wizard, that doesn't give you more things, your ability to write more in your spell book. You still have to make the choices. So it's not anything overpowered, it's just giving you more options to put in your spell book. At 3rd level, you get cantrip formulas. You've scribed a set of arcane formulas in your spell book that you can use to formulate a cantrip in your mind. Whenever you finish a long rest and consult those formulas in your spell book, you can replace one wizard cantrip with another cantrip from the wizard spell list, basically letting you swap out a cantrip on long rests. I think this is cool. Wizards should be very versatile with their cantrips anyway. Why not? One cantrip per long rest? That's perfectly fine with me as a DM anyway. Okay, and now we move on to the new subclass options, or a reprint of the Bladesinger and the new Order of Scribes subclass option here in the book. And Bladesinger, I love Bladesinger. I loved it in Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. They do make some tweaks to it here, so it's not the exact same as the original print, thankfully. Some of them are very welcome. And I have a player in one of my games right now who is a Bladesinger, and she seems to be enjoying it as well. So let's take a look here. I'm going to save all the flavor stuff for if I look through the book at some point. This is just very bland, and I'd rather visit the flavor of Tasha's Cauldron in the actual book when I get it. I just didn't have money to purchase both, and since my players can also use the Roll20 version in all our games, because all the games I run are through Roll20, then it just made sense to get this copy first. So these reviews will be in Roll20. So Bladesingers. Bladesingers master a tradition of wizardry that incorporates swordplay and dance. Originally created by elves, this tradition has been adopted by non-elf practitioners who honor and expand on the elven ways. The original version of Bladesinger restricted it to elves, so it was nice that they made this accessible to everyone. In combat, a Bladesinger uses a series of intricate, elegant maneuvers that fend off harm and allow the Bladesinger to channel magic into devastating attacks and a cunning defense. Many who have observed a Bladesinger at work remember the display as one of the more beautiful experiences in their life, a glorious dance accompanied by a singing blade. There's some new Bladesinger art, Drow and High Elf Bladesinger, very cool art. Love that. The first feature at 2nd level you'll get is training in war and song, and by the looks of it, it is the same as the original print version. You gain proficiency with light armor and gain proficiency with one type of one-handed melee weapon of your choice, which isn't specific to a blade. I always thought that was kind of cool and weird. You also gain proficiency in the performance skill if you don't already have it. Makes sense. Your whole thing is doing this dance, this performance dance, and yeah, this blade song. Speaking of, the other 2nd level feature you get is blade song, the main part of this subclass. You can invoke an elven magic called the Blade Song, provided that you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor or using a shield. It graces you with supernatural speed, agility, and focus. You can use a bonus action to start the Blade Song, which lasts for 1 minute. It ends early if you are incapacitated, if you don medium or heavy armor or a shield, or if you use 2 hands to make an attack with a weapon. You can also dismiss the Blade Song at any time, no action required. So yeah, this means that even if you're like wielding a longsword with one hand and you're making attacks, if you switch over to make that double-handed attack, that's going to break your Blade Song. And if you go down, you're incapacitated. When you get back up, you're not going to be dancing swiftly, unfortunately. While your Blade Song is active, you gain the following benefits. You gain a bonus to your armor class equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1. This is crucial because the Bladesinger is kind of a martial wizard, and you need that boost to your armor class. It's very crucial. And the great part about this is that it is a bonus to your armor class and not a calculation like unarmored defense. So this would stack with things like unarmored defense from the monk or wherever you would get it from. This would stack with a great many things because this is only a bonus and not a calculation of your armor class. So very cool, good to note. Your walking speed increases by 10 feet. You have advantage on acrobatics checks. You gain a bonus to your constitution saving throw you make to maintain your concentration on a spell. The bonus equals your intelligence modifier. So that's good, and that will scale quite a bit. And you can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This last part right here is a change from the original print. You could definitely tell because it's basing off proficiency bonus, and that whole trend just started not too long ago. And it originally was like wild shape. It was two uses per short rest, and now it is proficiency bonus per long rest, or 2 uses per short or long rest, I should say. But this is good. It scales well, though early game it is not as good because 2 uses per short rest, and since your proficiency bonus when you get this at 2nd level is only 2, so you'll have 2 per long rest, that kind of sucks. But it does scale well into as your proficiency bonus scales, so later in the game you can do more with it because you're not restricted to short resting just to be able to get more uses. So I would have liked to have seen maybe another way, since they're starting to use spell slots and things like that as a currency now to get more uses. I would have liked to have seen that here, or you can use a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to gain another use, something like that. That would have been cool, but I understand. It is overall a wash. Worse early game, better late game. Extra attack, 6th level. This one also got a change. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. Moreover, you can cast one of your cantrips in place of one of those attacks, allowing you to use a cantrip in place of an extra attack. That's pretty cool. I like that. Very good. And next up we have, and by the way, that's not you're not restricted to doing that with your blade song. So you can just make normal attacks with a bow attack and a cantrip attack, stuff like that. So very versatile. I do like that they added the cantrip part to the revision. At 10th level, you get Song of Defense. You can direct your magic to absorb damage while your blade song is active. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to expend one spell slot and reduce that damage to you by any amount equal to 5 times the spell slot's level. And at 10th level, you can cast 5th level spells. Yeah, 5th level spells. So that's up to 25 points of damage. All you need to do is use your reaction and expend a spell slot, and you get 5 times that amount of damage mitigated. I like that. That is a very cool feature. Again, because out of wizards, you are in and out of combat. Hopefully you want to be in and out. You don't want to tank, but you are more durable than most wizards. So very cool. By the way, while you're doing your blade song, you're not much more durable outside of that. But while you're doing your blade song, you're pretty durable. And your capstone, Song of Victory at 14th level. You can add your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1, to the damage on your melee weapon attacks with your blade song while your blade song is active. This is good. I would have liked to have seen an addition of putting that on your cantrips as well, your melee cantrips, like Green Flame Blade, stuff like that, to gain some benefit there. But I understand. Cantrips scale better than your attack damage anyway, so yeah, okay, that's cool. I think, nothing flashy for your capstone, but that's okay. The subclass as a whole, I very much enjoyed. So last up, we have the Order of Scribes Wizard, and this had gone through. This started out as a Artificer subclass, and then moved to Order of the Scribes from the Archivist, and here we go. We have the final product. Magic of the Book. That's what many folk call wizardry. The name is apt, given how much time wizards spend poring over tomes and penning theories about the nature of magic. It's rare to see wizards traveling without books and scrolls sprouting from their bags, and a wizard would go to great lengths to plumb an archive of ancient knowledge. Among wizards, the Order of Scribes is the most bookish, or I call it the most wizardly of wizards. It takes many forms in different worlds, but its primary mission is the same everywhere: recording magical discoveries so that wizardry can flourish. And while all wizards value spellbooks, a wizard in the Order of Scribes magically awakens their book, turning it into a trusted companion. All wizards study books, but a wizardly scribe talks to theirs. Very cool. I like the art there, and yeah, very, very cool. So first up, you get second level, you get Wizardly Quill. As a bonus action, you can magically create a tiny quill in your freehand. The magic quill has the following properties. The quill doesn't require ink. When you write with it, it produces ink in a color of your choice on the writing surface. The time you spend to copy a spell into your spellbook equals 2 minutes per spell level if you use the quill for the transcription. Now that is a huge improvement, because normally copying spells in your spellbook is 2 hours per spell level, if I remember correctly. 2 hours now with your quill is 2 minutes. Saves you a ton of time. You can erase anything you write with the quill if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action, provided the text is within 5 feet of you. This quill disappears if you create another one, or if you die. This is cool if you want to write little messages and then just quickly be able to get rid of them, or if somebody's trying to take your spellbook and use it for nefarious means, you could just swipe through and erase some of your spells. Don't know why you would ever do that, but hey, it is an option there. So at second level, you get Awakened Spellbook, the main meat and potatoes here. Using specially prepared inks and ancient incantations passed down by your wizardly order, you've awakened an arcane sentience within your spellbook. While you're holding the book, it grants the following benefits. You can use the book as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. Duh. And when you cast a wizard spell with a slot, you can temporarily replace its damage type with a type that appears in another spell in your spellbook, which magically alters the spell's formula for this casting only. the latter spell must be of the same level as the spell slot you expended. Now, when I originally read this part, I was like, wow, okay, that lets you it makes you so adaptable. I probably won't even take Chromatic Orb anymore. The caveat there, though, is that it has to be of the same level of the spell. So, that kind of sucks. Very limiting in that aspect, but hey, what are you going to do? It is a feature, so we'll leave it at that. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. That's really cool. So one ritual spell per long rest is just its normal casting time. So that definitely helps when you're wanting to make tiny huts and things like that while you're somewhere that you don't want to take 10 extra minutes to cast it. So very cool. I like that feature. If necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest by using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils in a blank book or a magic spell book to which you're attuned. At the end of the rest, your spellbook's consciousness is summoned into the new book, which the consciousness transforms into your spellbook along with all its spells. If the previous book still exists somewhere, all the spells vanish from its pages, which is nice. Someone steals your spellbook or you lose it somehow. Oh well, tough for them. They are not going to be able to mess with that any longer. Okay, at 6th level, you get Manifest Mind, and I think this is where the subclass really starts to shine. You can conjure forth the mind of your awakened spellbook. As a bonus action, while the book is on your person, you can cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral object, hovering in an unoccupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you. The spectral mind is intangible and doesn't occupy its space. We'll come back to this. This is weird. And it sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius. It looks like a ghostly tome, a cascade of text, or a scholar from the past. Your choice. While manifested, the spectral mind can hear and see, and it has dark vision within a range of 60 feet. The mind can telepathically share with you what it sees and hears, no action required. Whenever you cast a wizard spell on your turn, you can cast it as if you were in the spectral mind's space instead of your own, using its senses. You can do so a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's very good. That's a very good option. As a bonus action, you can cause the spectral mind to hover up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you or it can see. So that's a very nice detail. You don't actually have to be able to see the space as long as you can see it through the spectral mind, as long as they can, the little thing can see it. It can pass through creatures, but not objects. Here is the part of this that I'll come back to this in a second, but I find this strange that they put it like this. The spectral mind stops manifesting if it is ever more than 300 feet from you, so now you know its range. If someone casts Dispel Magic on it, that would make me sad. If the awakened spell book is destroyed, if you die, or if you dismiss the spectral mind as a bonus action. Once you conjure the mind, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of any level to conjure it again. Boy, I think this is super useful. I think this is very, very, very useful. I love this feature. This, to me, is my favorite feature of the subclass. Let's go touch on a few things, though. Where it says it can pass through creatures, but not objects. Interesting. So what if a creature takes a weapon, because it can be seen, right? It's intangible, but it can be seen. I mean, it casts 10 foot of dim light, for Pete's sake. And somebody slams a chair or a table or a weapon down on it. Well, it's intangible. It doesn't take up a space, but it can't move through objects. So what happens if an object is smashed down on it? Does it stop when it hits it? Because it can't move through the object. But it's intangible. I don't understand at what point that won't clash. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some clarification on that sometime. But yeah, I thought that was a weird choice there. And it can't pass through creatures, but does that mean clothing? Clothing's intangible. or clothing is an object. Don't know. But I know I do love the feature, and the fact that you can bring it back with any level of spell slot to conjure it again. Oh, I love that. That is great. So once per long rest for free, and then you can bring it back by a level 1 spell if you need to. Very cool. Very cool. Great for scouting. Great for casting spells up to your proficiency bonus, right? That's the amount of times you can cast a spell. Yep. You can cast a spell from the little fellow who can go up to 300 feet away from you, and you can use its senses to cast the spell. Oh, just love it. It's great. Great feature. So at 10th level, you get Master Scrivener. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can create 1 magic scroll by touching your wizardly quill to a blank piece of paper or parchment and causing 1 spell from your awakened spellbook to be copied onto the scroll. The spell book must be within 5 feet of you to make when you make the scroll. The chosen spell must be of 1st or 2nd level and must have a casting time of 1 action. Once in the scroll, the spell's power is enhanced, counting as 1 level higher than normal, and you can cast a spell from the scroll by reading it as an action. The scroll is unintelligible to anyone else, and the spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or when you finish your next long rest. You are also adept in crafting spell scrolls, which are described in the treasure chapter of the Dungeon Master's Guide. The gold and time you must spend to make such a scroll are halved if you use your wizardly quill. So this has 2 parts to it, and the first part is okay. You can make a spell scroll of an upcasted 1st or 2nd level spell that only you can use. It would have been super cool if you could have other people use it. I think it would have been much more useful. But a 1st or 2nd level spell, like I said, upcasted it. You do get it at a higher level. That's okay. That's cool. Get one of those per long rest. And the second part, which I actually do find pretty useful for a lot of campaigns, is that crafting. Now, for me, crafting spell scrolls, I use Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I don't use the Dungeon Master Guide rules and values. But let's say, for instance, an uncommon spell scroll in Xanathar's Guide is 1 week and 100 gold 1 work week and 100 gold pieces to make. That's how long and how much it costs to make. This says you can have that with your wizardly quill. So that means half of a work week, which a work week in Xanathar's Guide is 5 days. So and 5e you round down unless specified otherwise. So every 2 days and 50 gold pieces, you can make a spell scroll. An uncommon spell scroll. Pretty sweet. And that's just for instance. There's other rarities of spell scrolls. Okay, but our capstone is one with the word. Your connection to your awakened spellbook has become so profound that your soul has become intertwined with it. While the book is on your person, you have advantage on all arcana checks, as the spellbook helps you remember magical lore. That's super useful. Moreover, if you take damage while your spellbook's mind is manifested, you can prevent all that damage to you by using your reaction to dismiss the spectral mind, using its magic to save yourself. Then roll 3d6. The spellbook temporarily loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to that roll or higher. For example, if the roll's total is 9, spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9, which could mean 1 9th level spell or 3 3rd level spells, or some other combination. If there aren't enough spells in the spellbook to cover this cost, you drop to 0 hit points. Until you finish 1d6 long rests, you are incapable of casting the lost spells, even if you find them on a scroll or in another spellbook. After you finish the required number of rests, the spells reappear in the spellbook. Once you use this reaction, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. I don't like this. I don't like it. The coolest thing about this is how it limits you. I mean, that's the only interesting part of this. For real, this is a horrible version of Death Ward. I'd rather have a Death Ward's a 4th level spell, and it does a better job than this, and doesn't cost you spell slots for several days. I do appreciate that they took away the permanent part, because this was originally you would permanently lose these spells, which is ridiculous. But to lose these spell slots and temporarily, I can't say it's not useful. It is. It can save your butt, but man, it's a crappy Death Ward for your capstone ability. Granted, the advantage on Arcana checks is cool, and you can only use it once per long rest. Why? It costs you so much. Why put a limit on it? Let them use it. Let you burn up your whole spell book in a long rest. That would suck. That would really suck. But yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, but that's it. That's all our wizard features. Thank you everyone so much for joining me and enduring my subpar review of this. The review is good. I hope the facts are solid. Let me know what you think about the review. I just feel like crap. I'm going to try to get as many of these out as soon as I can, and stay tuned for a look at everything else. Yeah, so until next time, unity is strength, so take care of each other, stay safe, and we'll see you again real soon.